Hi everyone, today what we're talking about is the top 10 best builds in Forza 5. So starting off with our number 10th build, we have the snow tire build. Basically this is an off-road build or rally build type setup with just snow tires. We don't have snow on the map as of now, so I'm putting this at 10th place. Keep in mind that if snow arrives or a massive snow expansion comes out, that maybe these will be useful. But for now, they're not. So with the rest of this clip, I'm basically exploring the mountain. I feel like maybe the thing with snow tires are if you're higher up, you get more grip, but I don't think that's true. Then after I explore the mountain, I go down and I do a trailblazer, and I managed to sneak away 3 stars, which is pretty impressive, considering this is only like an A-class vehicle I made here. As we go into our number 9, this is going to be an amazing build if you want to have fun, but these are going to be useful kind of builds, and they're going to be helping you win races and stuff. These are not really that, although they are cool. They are not too practical in a race, but they are fun, so I'm putting them at number 9. At least it's better than snow tires, which are useless basically. They're basically like a rally tire, but not really. You're going to be seeing 2 different builds on screen. The first one we have here is the wheelie bug. Here's the tune I'm showing right now, hopefully. Then after that we have this Jeep that, since Forza 3, I've been making this Jeep. Anyway, it's a Renegade that's kind of an old Jeep, and you can make a build for it that rolls over a lot, and it's fun. You should try it. For number 8, we have the infamous Koenigsegg Jesko, and what we have here is the Danger Zone build. What this is basically made up of is having a high ride height in the front, low in the rear, having the front be very soft and bouncy, and the back be stiff kind of, just to get that speed. For the tires, we can use drag tires, we could use rally or off-road tires. Basically what suits the situation of the danger sign and where it is placed. The difference between this and something like the snow build or fun build is it actually is useful for something in the game. Just to save time, I'm going to skip to the final actual run of the danger zone, and we get a pretty good amount of distance and 3 stars. With the builds getting more useful, this is somewhat more useful than the last. No surprise there, but this is actually pretty usable. Like for example, drifting, drift zones, crossing the map, and it's pretty fun. Obviously you won't take this into a race or anything like that. This is just basically the bare bones you can actually use in a game. But you want to learn how to make this build, so let's begin. So we have drift tires now in Forza 5. Almost said FH5, that's weird. So these drift tires are much more grippy than I would say you need to. So if you want to have those drift tires, then you want to put like 900 or 1000 horsepower in it. And then the tuning begins. Obviously the diff needs to be welded. You need to adjust the camber, maybe the toe, and the tire pressure is very important. Other than that, it's basically mostly it. For the Jaguar you're seeing now, it has around 970, I believe, horsepower. Of course, with drift tires, you can use like sport or street tires. I used to use those in the older games. We have drift tires, so I'm guessing they have a special effect to make your car drift better, but they are pretty grippy, so I have to account for that by giving a lot of horsepower to the actual vehicle, or else it's basically just a race car at that point. Also, someone might be saying you could just adjust the tire pressure up and even though that gives less grip, it basically doesn't make that much of a difference at where it's going to make your tire go from grippy to just not grippy at all. But I did adjust the tire pressure up a bit in this car. On paper, a drag build doesn't seem better than a drift build, but it actually kind of is. Consider this: in Forza Horizon 4, I made the Shelby 1000, and that had drag tires, rear-wheel drive, and I made it not just for the straights. I made it to conquer the straights and also kind of conquer the road itself with all the curves it has. And that showed me drag tires can be better than they seem. Anyway, drag builds can be made of obviously drag tires, lowering the tire pressure and tuning, having gigantic engines. That's the only real viable way to make a drag build in any car. Another thing is lowering camber to make it more stable on the straights. The thing with drag cars are they are pretty versatile in going around the map. They don't turn corners as well, but they are better in the straights. While you have a drift car that is pretty slow because you don't like having that drift life with 10 million horsepower, these can go around with their turning being kind of lackluster, yet still go around the map pretty fast. With going on this list to number 5, you might hear my voice be a little different after number 6, and that's because I'm going to record that at a different date and at a different time. What this next one is basically just a race car with slick tires. These are the first cars on the list that are meant for racing and doing events in fully. The issue with these ones are they are a little bit grippier than semi-slicks, but you really don't want to go off-road because they punish you way too much for going off-road and they give little to no grip. As you can see in the clip, the car is still understeering even though I have the best tires in the game. Talking more about the car, yeah, it's fully slick tires, back mono. This used to be OP last game, so I thought it would be OP this game, and this was one of my starter cars. This obviously kind of sucked because it's all-wheel drive, and more about that in another video, hopefully if I make it. As we get past the halfway mark, we got the dirt build. This build is a little bit more versatile than the last one. Ultimately, we do have a better off-road type vehicle coming up on the list soon. The car we have here though is the Ford Escort with 742 horsepower and rally tires with rally suspension, and is a little bit tuned to be lowered. There's some faults with this car though. It can't take jumps well, and it can't be the best in its class for any surface. For off-road, yeah, you can have like a totally built off-roader and manage to outspeed this thing. Same if you have a totally built up on-road car. It's just a mix of kind of both. So we're getting pretty close to the top now. We have number 3. We have the semi-slick race build. Like the slick race build, this is basically a race car, but with semi-slick tires instead of fully slick. So that means generally you might lose out on some tiny amount of grip on the road, but you gain a ton of grip on other surfaces. So these you can generally step out of the pavement and go on the dirt for like a half a second and still be fine. But this particular car is the Ferrari F50 with 595 horsepower, and it's rear-wheel drive, so it actually gets more grip than the fully slick build because that was all-wheel drive. And all-wheel drive for road cars has been significantly nerfed. That's about it about this build. I end up winning the race here, and I do well with this car because it just turns well, and you can not get punished as much for stepping off the pavement. We're getting even closer to the top right now, and we got the fully off-road build. Kind of explanatory. You got like a Baja type truck. In this example, we're using the Ford Bronco, This has over 1,000 horsepower in this build. It's just accessible and very good off-roader, so it'd be good for an example. This is higher than the dirt build because this can go over more surfaces and explore better. Because if you're going over jumps, like you're in the dunes or something and you're exploring, then you're gonna want an off-road truck or something. You don't want this little off-roader that's gonna lose all speed when it hits the floor. This is also higher than the semi-slick race build, mainly because this new map is very off-road centric. It's Mexico, so Mexico is like a very deserty place, so off-roading is very big in that part of the world. And again, with the nerfs and buffs from Forza Horizon 5, this isn't affected by the all-wheel drive understeer nerf. The last point I'll bring up is that this is a way bigger map than Forza Horizon 4, and getting around it is going to be a while if you're going on road only, so if you want to go off-road, then an off-road truck is fine. We're finally at the top. We're at number 1. We have the dirt and road build. This may seem like a strange build, but it actually does work. This falls off when you're getting to like the S2s and X classes, but below that you can successfully make a car that's both good on road and on dirt. The way you make this build is lowering suspension, changing anti-roll bars, and putting mostly, I would say, race diff. Maybe you can do rally. I put rally tires because road tires are gonna lack in off-road, and rally tires do both in kind of good-ish. Rally suspension as well, just lower it a bit and change the settings to be more roadworthy. This says 720 horsepower and it's an S1. But now let's just get into the reasons why this build is actually just crazy for this game. It's really good for dirt, so crossing the map. It's really good for road, so crossing the road and gaining speed is really fine. And this can basically do most things in the game. So if you're exploring, if you're doing trailblazers or something, you can really take advantage of this and do very well. Anyway, this race was another win, and this type of build is really good. A version you might have is the RS200 Hoonigan Ford, or it's actually just the other way around, Ford RS200 Hoonigan. But anyway, that is a pretty good car for both road and off-road. It's lower to the ground than most rally cars, so that makes it pretty good for road. And that's mostly it with the list. So there concludes the list. Hopefully I didn't make it too hard to follow along. Hopefully I made it kind of good, but like if you like, dislike, and bye.